northern part of the United States is known for its ample amount of resources and railways. However, there is plenty of dark, twisted secrets that hide in these states. Today, we will discuss 5 cold cases that have plagued towns. Rachel Morin was passionate about her children and family more than anything. She loved fashion and always had a smile on her face. She was also an avid fitness enthusiast and often took walks on the Ma and Pa Heritage Trail. So when she didn't return, her family knew something was wrong. But to understand this case, we must start from the beginning. On that Saturday, Rachel went out for an evening walk along the Ma and Pa Heritage Trail, as she often did. The trail is a scenic 6.25-mile multi-purpose path with varying terrain. Parts of the path are either paved, decked over, or within the woods. But when Rachel didn't make it home that night, her boyfriend, Richard Tobin, reports her as missing to the police at 11:23 p.m. The next day, an organized search party is put together, and a citizen discovers a woman's body inside a drainage tunnel. On August 17, 2023, investigators found DNA on the victim's body, who was confirmed to be Rachel Morin. The suspect is the same person who committed a home invasion and assault of a young girl in Los Angeles in March of 2023. He was even caught on tape leaving the home, but somehow, Rachel's case is still unsolved. Jody LeCornu had a twin sister named Jenny, and the two were inseparable growing up. She was described by her sister as the strong twin and that she always was smiling. So when Jenny lost her sister to gun violence, it took her other half. But in order to understand this case, we must start from the beginning. Jody attended her normal shift at the Eastern Savings Bank before visiting the Mount Washington Tavern, where she planned to have a drink with a group of friends to wind down her evening. Jody remained at the tavern until closing time, which was 2 a.m. on the morning of March 2nd, 1996. After the last call at the tavern, an employee of the bar asked for a ride home, to which she happily obliged. After she drove him home, Jody drove out to a nearby ATM before shopping at the Curb Shop bar to buy some beers. By 3 a.m., Jody left the shop and drove to the parking lot at the Drum Castle Shopping Center, where she had parked and made some phone calls. As she sat in the parking lot making phone calls, a white BMW pulled into a nearby parking spot, and a man exited the car and approached Jody. The two have a short exchange, but it's unclear if they knew each other. Shortly after, at around 3:40 a.m., the man in the white BMW fired a shot through the back left passenger window of Jody's car, hitting her in the back. Jody tried to drive quickly out of the parking lot in an attempt to save her life, and though she made it out, she was stopped by a curb and succumbed to her injury. An individual saw the attack and immediately called the authorities and informed them of the white BMW. The witness also said that the suspect reached into Jody's car, put it in park, and took something. But by the time the police arrived, Jody was already gone. It's been 28 years, and Jody's case is still unsolved. Brenda Woodard was 18 years old and had her entire life ahead of her. Brenda had 5 wonderful siblings, and she was just about to finish high school. So to have your life ended abruptly by a possible serial killer is both shocking and terrifying. But if we want to understand how this happened, we must start from the beginning. On this night, Brenda attended night classes with a friend. When it ended, Brenda and her classmate went to Ben's Chili Bowls for dinner. Brenda's classmate typically gives her a ride home, but her car was in the shop which is why they took the bus. Brenda got off at 8th and H Street and had to transfer to another bus to get home. This is the last time Brenda is seen. It remains unknown when Brenda was abducted, whether it was at the second bus stop or while walking home. The next morning, Brenda's body is discovered by a police officer doing a routine check. Brenda would be found strangled and sexually assaulted. She was also stabbed multiple times. Defensive wounds were found as well, meaning Brenda was trying to fight off her attacker. To make things even more terrifying, there was a note found with her body. Was Brenda killed by a serial killer? With 6 other black young girls killed in the same manner, it seemed very likely. The freeway phantom is still a mystery and has never been apprehended. Unfortunately, Brenda's case and many of the other victims remains unsolved. Anna Maciejewska was a kind-hearted, lovable mother who would do anything for anyone. Anna was knowledgeable and was pursuing her master's in mathematics. So, when Anna mysteriously disappears and sends a strange message, it raises red flags. But if we want to understand what happened, we must start from the beginning. Anna had called her mother and said she wanted to fly to Poland to surprise her dad for his birthday on March 30th. She was planning to bring her 4-year-old son and her husband Alan. However, the next day, Anna sent a message in Polish saying she couldn't come. On March 30th, Anna sends a message in broken Polish and had many mistakes, which was unusual for Anna since Polish was her native tongue. Her parents believe that Anna did not send that message. In the following days, Anna's parents are trying to get in contact with her, but their calls are met with her husband, Alan, who claims that she's sick. During this time, Anna misses work, but sent messages to her boss informing him that she's sick. But it was unusual for Anna not to call after so many sick days. On April 10th, Alan stated that Anna was feeling better to return to work, but left the house panicked and rushed. But Anna still doesn't show up for work. Concerned, her boss sent police for a welfare check, but they found nobody home, not even Alan. The next day rolled around and still no Anna, so she was reported missing by her boss. Eerily, that same day, Alan called Anna's parents and informed them that Anna failed to return from work that previous evening and that he hadn't seen or heard from her, but he didn't want to report her missing just yet, which is very strange because if your partner goes missing, that would be the first thing you should do. On April 12, 2007, he reported her missing. Initial investigation found Anna's phone, wallet, and passport never left the home April 10th. Almost a month later, her car is found in an abandoned parking lot of a walking trail. They searched the surrounding area, but there still was no trace of Anna. And also, her husband, Alan, stopped cooperating with the police, and without any information from him, the case cannot move forward. Yeah, I'm gonna speak for all of us when we say he did it. The end. Charline Rosemond was a fun and active 23-year-old who worked for a Toyota dealership. She was looking forward to being an aunt soon and took interest in cosmetology. So after she never returned, after going to purchase a vehicle, it left many questions about her whereabouts. And when she was found, it was in the worst way they could have ever imagined. But if we want to understand how her life met this tragic end, we must start from the beginning. Charline was borrowing her father's car since she was having car troubles and hoping to purchase a new one. Charline obliged as she recently saved up $4,000 to purchase a Lexus from a friend who said they would help her get a car at a discounted rate. Later that same day, Charline had plans to look at the car with cash in hand, and she told her mom that she'd be home later that night. However, that evening, Charline never returned home. The following morning, Charline's parents asked Charline's sister Rosary, if she spoke to Charline since she didn't come home. Regardless, it was out of character for her. So, when Rosary said no, the family started to call around to her friends and even her job, but they got no closer to her whereabouts. By 11 a.m. on April 7th, the family decided to report her missing. At first, the police dismissed the urgency of Charlene's disappearance and told them they had to wait 48 hours to file a report. This did not sit well with the family at all, and her sister drove around to go look for her. She also spoke to 2 different friends of Charline, who, according to her, both seemed to have very little interest in Charline being missing. On April 8th, an official missing person report was filed. On April 13th, the police discovered Charlene's body. She was found in her father's 2001 gray Honda Civic in an alleyway near a convenience store with a bullet wound to the head. Law enforcement believe it was 2 assailants, one who entered the passenger seat and the shooter who sat in the back seat. Charlene's family believes she was killed because of the $4,000 in cash, because it was never recovered from the scene. Unfortunately, even after 15 years, her case still remains unsolved.